Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. Let's please take a quick moment for any latecomers to enter. My name is David Alamon with Royal Cyber. I'm happy to be joined by my colleague and our Senior Hybris Project Manager, Megesh Ramamurthy, and our special guest, Mark Phillips, the General Manager of Technology for the Distribution and Concrete Divisions within Fletcher Building. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Today, we'll begin by going through Placemakers and Royal Cyber's background, followed by the demo of our mobile application, and then we'll end with a Q&A. Placemakers is a trading name of Fletcher Distribution Limited, the retail trading arm of Fletcher Building Limited in New Zealand. They're New Zealand's leading and largest supplier of building materials and hardware, with 61 stores and over 74,000 product lines. Previously, they had a fractured online presence, causing them to lag behind market players in similar sectors. So, they established their digital transformation program to create state-of-the-art customer experience for its customers using SAP Commerce Cloud. Let's go over some of the customers' most frequent tasks. Everything here is pretty much as expected for a company like Placemakers. The customer would call to ask if their product was in stock. They would have to do the same to request status updates on their orders. They would need to modify their orders from time to time. And lastly, they would need to order out of estimates created for specific jobs and projects. Here are some of the customer's biggest problems. Ordering wasn't very seamless as the customer needed to visit or call the branch for orders. The tradee could not manage their purchasing team, i.e., who could order and how much would they be allowed to spend. As for the company, time-bound sales and services, it's always a problem. So tracking also wasn't involved as yet, delivery times, and customers would need to manually request order changes. Let's get into the technical landscape here. There was complex pricing strategy with billions of permutations of trade prices based on customer, branch, and product range, aging integration backbones, and dispersed customer information. And so, Mark, my first question for you would be if you could please elaborate on the pricing strategy and the technical problems that came with it.
Yeah, so look at a high level, Placemakers runs a distributed ERP. Its history was 61 branches running independently rather than one company with 61 sites to distribute. Each one of those 61 sites has its own customer master, and each one of those customers have their own trade pricing. We have well over 100 to 200,000 products, 2 to 300,000 individual accounts. Multiply and multiple ways in which we calculate prices. So you multiply all of that out and you end up with very big numbers, 500 billion data points that we have to manage. Not only that, the ERP doesn't keep a list of the products, it's algorithmically derived every time a sales order is placed. So there's no easy way just to dump out a list of pricing and put it into Hybris. So we had to come up with a strategy that ensured that we could get the right price to the customer every single time they queried something online, while still utilizing the complex and large data set that we had in the ERP. So it was a very challenging problem for us and something that was top of mind, and we're continually working on from day one, and we'll be continually working on it for as fast as we can get. We want to go faster.
Nice. It's great to hear that a company as large as Fletcher Building is able to kind of keep speed front of mind and keeping agility, which is something I'm sure we'll talk about as we go through the demo. When it comes to Fletcher Building's business challenges, we've gone over these earlier, but the two that cost quite a bit of revenue are the last two. There were many redeliveries and costs incurred that could be avoided if customers had access to self-serve, and many customers needed to reorder on site. Usually they would send a staff member to pick up items from the nearest store, regardless of if it was a Placemaker store or not. So they were losing money not because of customer loyalty, but sheer convenience. So, Mark, if you could just pick one of these challenges, which of these would you say was the hardest for you and your team to solve as you went along your journey?
For us, look, I think just establishing an online platform has been the most challenging thing with our aged infrastructure. We've been on this journey for 4 years, but it also talks to our real challenge, which is adoption. So when we look at everything you mentioned there is just really table stakes for us. but we need to change people's behavior, and we need an experience that is so compelling that they choose to do this. So I at a headline level, Dave, I think it's all been challenging, but just simply getting the platform in place and continually driving that adoption journey in our customers has been the most challenging part for us, and I think it will continue to be the most challenging part as we move forward.
Oh, that's great. So it sounds a lot of it was kind of, just first things first, just getting online was the most difficult part. And do you think that maybe because you were, I don't want to say late to the game, but, maybe a half step behind, that you're actually able to be more agile now than some other competitors who might be about the same size?
Yeah, look, we deliberately took a view. This journey actually started 4 years ago when we came up with our IT roadmap, and we knew we had to address things like product master data, customer master data, our overall solution architecture. So while we weren't bringing anything to market at the same speed as our customers were, what we were doing is getting everything right so that we could move quickly. And the cadence at which we are now releasing features to market, the richness of them over the last sort of 13 weeks shows that we were getting ourselves match fit, and now we're fast. Our ways of working, the way we've approached our solution architecture and overall philosophy makes us quick, and we needed to hold our nerve, have a clear vision, and execute well against that vision to create that speed and agility, which is what we've done.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, to solve these problems, the team decided to create a mobile digital solution integrated with each branch. So, to name a few features, the customer could now order anytime or anywhere, search for products and view stocks, manage their team, skip the counter, and of course, during this time, very important, contactless delivery and pickup during the lockdown. And so now when we look at a few success indicators and conversions of customers, we have 10,000 app downloads, 6,000 registrations, 3,000 active users, 2,000 orders so far, and 1,250 number of team delegations, and so far in 50 days, about 1 million in sales. And I know from my end, although I didn't get to personally work on the project, as the project began to materialize, it seemed like confidence was growing. And so when you look at these numbers, Mark, which of these do you think stands out the most that you didn't see or expect to break expectations?
Yeah, so the main thing, as I mentioned before, is around really for us is the 3,000 active users. We had a because of the challenge around adoption in our industry, it's not a very tech savvy industry, and that's worldwide as well. We expected that number to be, we'd get to that number in sort of, I don't know, a year and a half. And the fact that we've really achieved that in 50 days, and they're continuing to use the app, which drives the numbers below in terms of orders and sales and team delegations, that's been a really surprising win for us, and a happy win as well.
Yeah, and I actually, I don't want to jump too far ahead here, but I know we launched shortly after the lockdowns began. Do you think that did that cause any nerves on your end, like, oh my God, what's going to happen here? Or were you pretty confident that it was going to actually help, the app was going to help Fletcher Building in that time?
Yeah, so it was good timing, obviously with COVID and the move for people doing click and collect and online ordering, which was a recognizable trend around the world. It was a bit of you can do all the planning and testing you want and all the thinking about scalability, but of course when you launch, there's always a few nerves. But what we saw is pretty soon after day one, and the amount of signups and orders going through, and we're measuring our functional, non-functional performance and number of issues we're getting, we were incredibly, any doubts we had, which were small, but they were there with any new product launch, went away. And it came from, let's just nurse it through till we reach our adoption numbers, to let's push it hard, because it's stable, it's delivering value to our customers, and it's delivering value to Fletcher Building, and that's a really great place to be with a product launch.
I'm happy to hear. And Mark, if you could just tell us a little bit about what's to come.
Yeah, so as far as our trade app goes, we're continually looking to release new features, and we've got a ton of new features coming up over the coming months. And by the end of the calendar year, we will have launched a full B2B site, including integration into logistics providers, and a B2C site. And the great story is it's not sort of, for us, it's leveraging the power of Commerce Cloud, leveraging the power of all the solution architecture and work and we've done, and that we can, once we set up B2B, we've mainly reused 90 to 95% of the solution to create a B2C site in record time for minimal money. So it's a really great story around the power of SAP Commerce Cloud.
So let's go over a little bit about Royal Cyber. We are over 1,000 employees strong with over 130 clients. We have offices across the globe, from Chicago to India to Canada, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and New Zealand. We have technology partnerships across the board, especially when it comes to e-commerce, middleware, and cloud technologies. Here are a few of our clients, and as you can see, they cover many verticals, and many, if not most of them, had begun leveraging just one of our services, only to ask us to help service them across a lot of their different technologies. Now, when it comes to the Hybris practice specifically, we have over 100 Hybris specialized employees, with almost 30 of them being Hybris certified. Here's an overview of our Hybris experience. Just to go over briefly, we have 6 implementations under our belt, again spanning multiple industries. And as mentioned a few slides ago, if you look below, with Omega and Fletcher, they were confident enough in our abilities after e-commerce services to leverage us with their other technologies. We run a hybrid agile methodology that responds to customer needs and the evolving industry trends. So we can help your company regardless of what methodologies you're using. We have experience from waterfall to agile. I bring this up because, as a special gift for our attendees today, we are offering a complimentary 2-week assessment for whatever it may be. It could be greenfield implementation, mobile application, cloud migrations, or even a small yet meaningful performance tune-up. You can reach out through the website or myself after the webinar. So now let's get to the demo. Magesh, I will hand over the controls to you.
Thank you, David. So let's look into the Pacemaker's Trade App, which we have built. So when you go into the app, basically it uses a single sign-on using Auth0 technology. So all customers can log into the app in secure manner, and not just this app, any interaction they have with Placemakers, they use one user account to log in and do their business. And so this, once you log in, you'll be landing in a sleek dashboard where anything that is important to you on any given day is in your fingertip, right? So list of delivery orders which you have placed so far. It is omni-channel. Wherever you place the order, whether in the app or portal or go walk into the store and buy something, you'll always see the order information here on the screen. So a lot of quick information is in this widget. And if you want to see the details of the order, you simply have to go into the order details. You see what are the products which you have ordered, and if you want to contact the site, the store, you can call them anytime. If you want to edit the order, click on the order and then do any update, right? I just want to say that don't forget to bring right to left, right? Just sending a message here. So
a question mark here.
Yeah.
How often do you see that being used, those kind of last minute changes on orders?
Yeah, look, building, we'd like to all think that building is a precise art and always runs to clockwork, but a bit like software development, when you're building, be it a house or A&A, alterations and additions, things don't always go to plan. So most of our customers receive their products through deliveries, so we like them to place deliveries ahead of time. As you go through the build, if you realize you're short some nails or that you've ordered the wrong type of product, the ability to be able to update that order before the pick has been completed is a really valuable service that our customers really appreciate, because it's just like software development, it doesn't always go according to plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's great foresight on your end.
And you have an ability to filter the order based on, say, just the pickup orders or delivery orders, and like all the orders can be seen here. Anything that is due today will come up in the important order. Today we don't have any deliveries or pickup plans, so it's empty for now. So you have other options to filter on those lists. If you're making hundreds of orders a day, this could be handy to filter them. And on top of the screen, the principle of buying with placemakers is you buy on an account. You create a project. I mean, you negotiate a contract price for a project, and then buy on that account with that specified price. So you have an option to toggle the accounts, which account you are going to use, and at which branch. Right? You can toggle that anytime and see the price according to this to the specific branch and account you chose. So here we are trading with an example of an account, right? And let's now check out the ordering option. So we click on the buy option here. You have bunch of, I'll go back, message on the screen. So I'll show you how to change an account. So here you can select on the top navigation and change to a different account. Let me go to my Westgate branch. I want to place an order for the Westgate branch. Click on buy. So let me show how you can order in the app. So you have 4 different options here. One is delivery, where you can place a standard delivery order, and you have courier order, which basically you have an option to get consumable products within 1 hour of placing an order. So this is faster than Amazon today. And you have a pickup order, where you can go to any branch and pick up the order you have placed. And recently we have launched a feature called skip the counter, where you can walk into the store and buy stuff, scan the code on the phone, and then just walk out. So you don't have to go to the counter at all. So this is the latest feature we have launched, which is new state of the art across the world. Nobody else is doing it. So let me show you what order looks like. So let's try the delivery order. So I give a delivery location. So when you start typing, you'll get the address auto-populated. Here you can search for any products. You have all the product items here. It's the product name, availability of the product in that specific branch which you are looking at. You can see that. Then you see the price per product and the quantity. So I'm just searching for a product here. So this basically leverages the Hybris SAP Commerce search engine in the backend. So it brings up the products from that. I should be able to products to the cart. Go to checkout. You see the location you have selected. You can give additional information. Right. And give a PO reference number. And you can review your product quantities, modify the quantity if you want, and place the order. As simple as that. Right. So similarly, you can go into courier order and do the same stuff. Only thing is a subset of products are eligible for courier, which warranties that it will be delivered within next hour. So those products can be ordered with this feature. And you have a pickup order where you can select a branch and pick up the product from that specific branch if you place an order, right? So and you
And
have
these seem to be, especially with the courier, the express delivery, one of the most desired features from any e-commerce customer, especially because of companies like Amazon. But not too many companies seem to be able to get it done. So, Mark, how were you able to get that possible, and what role did SAP Commerce as a platform play in enabling you to do so?
Yeah, so look, the key focus was around, firstly, we had to build out a logistics capability. You have to have the things like for delivery, having the truck fleet, and for courier, have a relationship with a 3PL in order to firstly just deliver the products. It's one thing to build an online platform, it's another thing to be able to deliver to the promise. So we worked in the last 2 years of building a highly integrated delivery management service, both from a business as well as a technology end. And it was built in a way that it was loosely coupled, so that when we moved to our online channel, which is SAP Commerce, we could integrate very easily and quickly and get the user interface, leverage the user interface that comes out of the box with Commerce Cloud in order to create this experience and utilize the service very quickly and very cost effectively. Furthermore, SAP Commerce Cloud and the way that it works in terms of things like geolocations and finding the closest site is going to be one of the key enablers, or one of the key things we looked at, or benefits from it, in continually improving our delivery service to our customers.
All right, that's awesome to hear. And so another thing that I noticed, especially as you mentioned a lot of the legacy systems earlier on, when it came to the search function for both, especially for the courier and for pickup, how did you go about the integrations, and what hurdles did you have to climb?
Yeah, a lot of hurdles actually. So our ERP is 30 years old and doesn't have a SOA architecture around it. It's not very it's not built for these times, as you say. And the approach within the way that we've done things in the past is very traditional. So we took a completely new approach. We utilised technologies such as MuleSoft and Solus. Again, driven by our overall vision and solution architecture, we're very focused on what we're trying to achieve, and we did a number of innovative things around security. And the whole goal was to get the integrations as fast as possible. In a e-commerce world, milliseconds matter, especially in terms of customer experience. So working with our partners, including Rural Cyber, we did a very different approach to integration, a very modern approach. Some of it's a little bit bleeding edge. And it's, to give you an example, when we first did the first testing, it was 10 seconds to get a product search back. Now we're consistently less than 2 seconds, which is our benchmark.
Wow. Yeah, that's that's quite the jump in time. So Mukesh, you can continue now.
Yeah. So another feature which is kind of important, which plays an important role in customer's journey is the ability to manage lists within the app. So you can go in and create and maintain a list which is specific to any projects. So when customer usually, right, when they come and negotiate for a price, they will basically come with a project and say, like, I need these products for this specific project. So from that, they should be able to create a list like this. For the Sky City project, you have so many products added to for that project. So customer can quickly select any list like that and be able to order out of it quickly. So that's the, I mean, most of our orders basically are derived from this list, and you can straight away go to the checkout and place the order. So order list and maintenance of it, right, is one of the key features for the customers to be able to make quick orders. Our latest feature is the skip the counter feature, which we launched recently. So we can go in and give a job reference. And it generates a purchase token in a QR code format. Customer can easily scan this code in the branch and then pick up the order in the yard and drive out, right, without going to the counter. So this is one of the state-of-the-art feature which we have developed and launched and has good feedback from the customer for this feature.
Yeah, and I've actually found this facet pretty incredibly useful and forward thinking. And so, Mark, how did you, or how did the team rather, come up with the idea to do a skip the counter feature? And I guess what were the hurdles there as well?
Yeah, so look, it's an idea that's been around a long time. Placemakers, like most building merchants in New Zealand, has basically had the same processes for the last 30 odd years. And so one of the pain points is being able to, for a customer to be able to identify themselves, very manual and very paper based. And in the morning, one of the pain points around our customers is they come in, they want to get loaded up and they want to get out on site and start building, because that's where they make their money. So when we looked at the pain point around how hard it was to identify themselves, the very manual processes, and the fact that they could get loaded up and just couldn't drive out, that's the genesis of the idea of skip the counter. Now, one of the key components is it has to be secure, and we needed a way so that at the moment it's QR codes. Could it be NFC in the future? Yes, it could. It's a very generic service that we've built, and so we took a pain point, we took an innovative approach building on our digital tools, and meshed the two together in a very secure and fast way. To give the customer the experience to be able to drive in, get loaded up, and just drive straight out again. And more importantly, make sure that that transaction is secure and completely traceable to them. So if there's any debate over who did what, we can trace the transaction right from the moment of acceptance all the way back through to the moment the order was created, and there can be no doubt around who authorised the order. So it's a pain point that's been in the industry for a while, but we've been bold enough to address it and move ahead of our competitors.
That's great.
What's the feedback been thus far?
Very good. The key thing for them is, in fact, it's been. Sorry, can we start again on that one?
Yeah.
So what was the question? Well, the feedback.
So what has the feedback been thus far?
So the feedback from customers has been really great. The fact that they no longer have to sign and print their name and walk out with a paper copy that they put in their glove box and that they've got to remember to give to their wife, who often does the accounts, is a big win. And they love the fact that some of them can just drive in and drive out, while their mates have to line up at the counter because they haven't got the app and taken advantage of the skip the counter feature.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, just one last question, as I know you do have to leave here soon. Obviously, of course, Royal Cyber has played a pretty large role through everything I've asked you thus far. So if we could just, hear a little bit more about what it's been like working with us, and what's it going to look like moving into the future.
Yeah, look, so we engage with Royal Cyber really pre-business case, working with the architects to flesh out what a hybrid implementation would look like for placemakers. They gave us some guidance. They gave us a lot of feedback and some initial costings. We used that work to create the business case, to create our solution architecture, and we went through a recruitment process and a vendor selection process, and Royal Cyber was by far out of the vendors that were put forward the best vendor. And what attracted them to us was, one, their proven track record, two, their history of bringing innovative products forward. There was a lot of innovation in the pitch, we thought was great, and three, we just really liked the culture. In my time, I've worked with Royal Cyber for 3 to 4 years now. I've always gone very well with everybody. Their culture aligns with us, a very can-do attitude. We have a lot of fun as well, which is important when you're building software, especially with my friend Magesh here. So for us, it's been a great cultural fit. We also have other partners, and one of the real strengths, I think, for Royal Cyber is their ability to work with all partners in a way that brings value to the customer, and that's been really pleasing, as well as their technical expertise. Everyone we've had on site as well as off-site has been fantastic. The final thing I'll call out is that we are using a scaled agile method. Royal Cyber have adapted to that incredibly well. We now have shifted our timeline so that we run our stand-ups and our scaled agile rituals with the team in India, in Karachi and was it Bangalore? Bangalore. And so we've continued to bring them into the train and make them part of the team. And that's very rare in most offshore engagements. The offshore team's offshore and you don't see them, but it's been great to bring in the developers and testers from overseas and make them part of the train. So, for me, that deep knowledge, the cultural fit, and the ability to bring and adapt to the different ways of working of the client, as well as to complement the internal teams, the external teams, and bring real value to the customer has been, these are those key success factors that we've seen from Royal Cyber.
Oh, it really does mean a lot to hear those words, especially as someone just a part of the team, and just having that confidence that our clients are as happy as you seem to be with our work. And so, I know you have a last minute meeting to attend, so thank you so much for joining. And, we look forward to continuing working with you in the future. And for everyone else here, we do still have a panel with us to answer any of your questions. So please send anything you have. And thank you again, Mark.
Thanks. And I look forward to working with Royal Cyber for a long time to come. Magesh, you can't leave the country. You have to actually stay here. I'm not quite sure how we're going to have to work with your boss, but and Arjun as well. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much.